Częstochowa Prince's House. Dear brothers and sisters, the Prince's House, grand plans that have been ruined. In Częstochowa, the Prince's House is still standing. A large modernist building at Aleja Wolności 44. General Stanisław Maczek stayed there. The building could be a symbol of the weight of Polish bloodshed during the two world wars. Where did the name of the building come from? The construction of this tenement house for Russian officials was supposedly commissioned by the brother of the Russian Tsar, Prince Michael Alexandrovich Romanov. It was built in 1912 according to the design of Bruno Paprocki. The Russians planned to build an impressive building, even a palace, but World War I, the World War that broke out in 1914, effectively thwarted their plans, and a military hospital was built inside. In 1930, Natalia Szeremetiewska, the wife of the would-be Russian Tsar, demanded the house of the prince, but her actions did not bring any results. In turn, during World War II, German soldiers lived in the building, and when the war ended, nuisance tenants were placed here. When the prince's house began to threaten their safety, they had to move out. The prince, the Tsar's brother, was in possession of a key estate near Częstochowa city. He owned villages such as Kocin, Mikanów, Ostrowy, and Zagórze. According to the original assumptions, the building was to have a palace character, but the First World War and then the revolutions in Russia prevented the implementation of the plans. The liquidation of two domes during renovation in the 1930s contributed to the decrease in the value of the building. I talked about this investment here to have a starting point for something new, unclear. Dearest, the freedom for which peoples and nations have fought throughout history is threatened by the indifference of modern times. This freedom, for which we won in 1918, remains a failure to fulfill the faith of Polish mothers and fathers. Freedom, about which so many treatises have been written that it has become a pale and abstract notion, was, for example, for the Dutch, something as simple as breathing, looking, touching things. It didn't need to be defined or embellished. That is why in the art there is no division into what is great and small, important and insignificant, sublime and commonplace. They painted apples, portraits of textile merchants, pewter plates, tulips, with such patient love that images of the afterlife and noisy tales of earthly triumphs faded in their presence. Faithful of Częstochowa city, go upright among those on their knees, among those with their backs turned and thrown to the dust. You have not survived to live. Be faithful, be brave. In the end, that's all that matters. You always swim to the source, against the current. Garbage goes with the flow. Take a look at the Warsaw Palm of Heroism in the center of Polish capital. And just like Mizdroj village close to the Baltic Sea, they should have artificial island toward Kawcza and Biała Góra, like the Palm of Dubai. This would be the Polish Cyclades. The island below lie the tawny skins of wild animals thrown on the water. This is how Częstochowa city expect the presidential palace, because we cannot afford the royal palace. A nation that loses its memory loses its conscience. Do we deserve to be drunks? The latter are people who drink to the bottom and gulp, but they wins because at the bottom they see themselves again. Through the neck of the bottle they observe distant world. If they had a stronger head and more taste, they would be astronomers. I don't want to repeat the cliches over and over again. You have to die. You believed in crystal notions and not human clay. You live in constant contraction, like in a dream you fished for chimeras you gnawed at the air greedily. Plutarch. Books were taken seriously, and today only blood-chanting dark tautologies connect the distant shores with the thread of understanding. Ukrainians return to the homeland now. That we are alone, we can talk like prince man to another man, although you lie on the stairs and see as much as a dead ant, that is a black sun with broken rays. I could never think of your hands without smiling, and now that they lie on the stone like fallen nests, they are as vulnerable as before. This is the end. The hands lie apart, the sword lies apart, the head and legs of a knight in soft slippers are apart. It's not the truth what the posters shout. We carry the truth in clenched lips. It's cruel and too heavy, so we carry it alone. In the morning, I look at the Częstochowa stones at the prince's house again. Through the mist only a huge mouth of nothingness is visible. So now I see them for the first time in my life with my eyes, in real life. I will be able to go there in a moment, put my face close to the stones, examine the sand, run my hand along the grooves of the columns. One must free oneself, of course. Forget all the photographs, charts, guidebooks one has seen, and what I was told about the immaculate purity and sublimity of the Greeks. Since no one thought of the question what there is art, because a world without images would be simply incomprehensible. We are poor, very poor. A great part of the contemporary art is on the side of chaos, gesticulates in the void, or talks about the history of our own barren soul. This is how neglected the Polish soul seems now. The city hopes that an investor will be found soon, because the Prince House building is located in an attractive location, so it could be used as an office building, a hotel, or simply apartments. However, for over 6 years, there has been no buyer. At least I don't know anything about new plans. Częstochowa city decided to announce tenders, but to no avail. I believe there will be another one. Will the Prince's House find a buyer this time? I do not know. It's okay to always have bigger ambitions than the result, but the world belongs to the brave. And let the outside nations always know that Poles are not geese, that they have their own country of childhood years, lived with their mother.